Here's my prediction. I think by the end of this calendar year, we'll be over 100,000. Bitcoin's forming this nice declining flag. Top of the flag, it looks like you kind of break out at 66 from the flag. You break out from the all-time high at 72 or 3. I think when we go through those, we're going to squirt up to 100, very quickly. People who embrace Bitcoin and save in Bitcoin terms, your kids, grandkids, and great-grandkids are going to notice the difference in a very meaningful way. In a very, very meaningful way. And so that's why I do what I do in terms of advocating for this kind of quote-unquote perfect form of money.
Despite the fact that both Bitcoin and other major cryptocurrencies have remained in the same price range for almost 8 months now, large investors and analysts are confident that the market is on the verge of a significant move. They believe that we are about to witness a dramatic rise in the price of Bitcoin and other cryptos in the coming weeks. This shift aligns perfectly with the recent start of interest rate cuts by the Federal Reserve, the upcoming presidential elections in November, and the overall macroeconomic outlook, which seems ideal for a surge in digital asset prices. Ultimately, this could push Bitcoin beyond the desired target of $100,000. Renowned investor Larry Lepard believes this goal will be reached before the end of 2024. He argues that many traders underestimate how quickly Bitcoin can move in such an environment. Additionally, according to this portfolio manager, if pro-Bitcoin candidate Donald Trump wins the November elections, we could see a substantial increase in demand for Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, leading to an explosive rise in prices. Larry believes that the upcoming wave of money printing will be unlike anything we've seen before and will drive the prices of hard assets like gold and Bitcoin to new all-time highs. These are bold predictions, but very promising ones. So if you want to know what Larry Lepard is basing his claims on and what he's doing with his own money right now, then sit back, relax, and get ready for all the insights and knowledge we're about to uncover in this video. Let's get started.
From what I can see, if this is a fair election, and that's a big if, we'll discuss it in a minute, Trump wins this. I think that, enough of the country is hurting badly enough based on the economy, the inflation, the economic policies of the administration, that they're going to say, get me out of this. I want out. I want to go to the other side. So that's my gut, feeling right now. However, I've read and seen and investigated, all the shenanigans that happened with the last election. And, I recognize that it's probably, 4 or 5 states, and within that, maybe 4 or 5 counties per state. So, I think if you could, jam 20, absentee ballots into 20 counties, you might be able to influence the outcome of the election. So this is what Stalin said: it's not who votes, it's who counts the votes. And, I hate to be that cynical, but I don't put anything past the other side. I mean, two attempts have been made to murder, Trump, and his being president again is really kind of existential for a lot of people. I think from a crypto point of view, there's no doubt Trump would be more friendly because he's talked about, having a light touch in terms of regulation, and maybe even making it legal tender, et cetera, et cetera. I wasn't thrilled when I saw him announce that he's going to do his own Trump shitcoin, which, some guys, it's just, you can't get to certain people, right? I mean, he likes to try and make money, and he likes to promote people, and it's in his nature. So I was disappointed when I saw that, but of course, of the choice between the two, for me it's obvious, because one is much more pro-business and pro-crypto and pro-Bitcoin than the other. I think on the other side, as we were discussing before the show, they took down Silvergate, Elizabeth Warren's anti-crypto army. They've tried to block a lot of the on-ramps. I'm an investor in custodian. Caitlin's had an enormously difficult time. And the politics and the bullshit that, the administration has pulled, and the administration and the Federal Reserve have pulled to try and keep, Bitcoin and crypto within their sphere. It's outrageous. And if we had fair courts, we'd be winning enormous damages. But my sense is we don't have fair courts either. So, but honestly, I can't tell how it's all going to shake out. The bull case for Kamala is the abortion issue. Is a hot button for a certain portion of on both sides, and the fact, there are women who are, irrespective of where they are on the economy, they're going to vote that single issue, and they feel like there's a lot more women's choice and freedom and reproductive rights and so on and so forth. And you can call it whatever you want, but they feel much more comfortable in the Democratic Party. So I think if the Republican Party kind of got their act together on that particular issue and arrived at some decent compromise, the Democrats would be just completely dead. But that's the one issue that I think gives Kamala a little bit of strength. So we'll just have to wait and see. I mean, we're going to know very, very soon. No matter what happens, the other side's going to be very upset and probably claim fraud, and we'll have to see. I certainly hope that Trump wins. I intend to vote for him. I vote in Florida, and I intend to vote for him. So, but we'll see. It's a tough call. I mean, one thing I will say on both of them, though, I don't think, I think Kamala spends more faster. Okay, I think there's more UBI, there's more debt forgiveness. There's just, she thinks she's got an unlimited checkbook, and they're gonna, in my view, they're gonna go full modern monetary theory view of deficits. What deficits? We can just print to handle it. That's that side. I think there will probably be a little bit more restraint on the Trump side. I mean, I caution that he says he's going to balance the budget. He says he's going to, cut all these costs. I mean, my sense, but he also wants to cut taxes. My sense is it's going to be pretty hard for him to really make a big dent. I mean,
it's not just Larry Lepard. Many other analysts have long agreed that what the United States really needs is an austerity plan, one that puts an end to deficits, curbs excessive spending, and addresses the country's finances in a far more responsible and healthy manner. Such measures would truly help combat the national debt crisis that has been weighing heavily on the country, the dollar, and its citizens. And while every politician promises to have the solution to this, the reality is these are empty promises. Once they get into power, it never happens. Even Jerome Powell, the chairman of the Federal Reserve and the man ultimately behind the money printer, has acknowledged that this is a massive issue that needs to be addressed immediately. According to Powell, both political parties need to have a mature conversation about working together to solve the debt problem, something that sounds promising but is highly unlikely to happen. Instead, they always end up choosing the easier path: overspending, printing more money, and leaving the problem for the next person who occupies the Oval Office. This continues to devalue the currency, pushing us closer to a hyperinflationary environment where the dollar is destroyed. And it's here, according to Lepard, that hard assets like gold and Bitcoin can truly shine. These assets prove that the world really needs them, as there's no turning back for the dollar with such a massive debt problem. It's time to start looking for alternatives that can protect us when the entire system collapses. Now, let's listen to more clips from this interview.
People who embrace Bitcoin and save in Bitcoin terms, your kids, grandkids, and great-grandkids are going to notice the difference in a very meaningful way. In a very, very meaningful way. And so that's why I do what I do in terms of advocating for this kind of quote-unquote perfect form of money. I think that's why Saylor does what he does. I think it's why we're all doing it, right, Stefan? I mean, if you've got a libertarian bent, you realize that the problem is that the state controls the money and they use it as an instrument of power to control all of us and to create wars and to kill people. But we are in a position to rein them in on money because we don't have to use their money. We can use our own money. And we've now got a form of money that's totally fair, widely distributed. Everyone plays by the same rules, can't be messed with. That's a very, very powerful thing, very powerful. And so, give it time. Another 10 years, another 20 years at the most. It's gonna solve the problem, in my opinion. So we're going in the right direction, but I know it's frustrating. I mean, a lot of people would say, "Hey, we're stuck at 58,000." Well, yeah, we are. It's annoying, But I said I was with Natalie and James yesterday, and I said, here's my prediction. I think by the end of this calendar year, we'll be over 100,000. Bitcoin's forming this nice declining flag. Top of the flag, it looks like you kind of break out at 66 from the flag. You break out from the all-time high at 72 or 3. I think when we go through those, we're going to squirt up to 100, very quickly. So, and I think the gold is a tell. The gold hitting records, and the awareness on the part of a larger and larger part of the world that something's wrong. I mean, the disconnect is, you've got guys like Krugman tweeting, "Hey, we've done it. We've landed the plane. 2% inflation, 3% inflation. It's all good. Everything's great." And I tweeted back to him. I said, "Yeah, okay. If that's the case, then why is gold at a record high? If you successfully landed the plane and inflation's under control, then the price of gold should be going down, not hitting new all-time records, right? It's hitting new all-time records because it says you guys are debasing the currency and you're going to have to debase it more in the future. That's what gold is telling us right now. I don't think there's any doubt that the governments will try to keep the system functioning. And if the release valve is inflation, so be it. The economy's going, ticking along, but it's inflationary. I think there's a possibility though that they lose control of that inflation on the next one, and that's really the issue. The issue is, we're in a period here where we're shifting from everyone believing in the deflationary trend in the stock market, which we had for 40 years, and the correct choice was always to quote unquote buy the dip, because really, if you bought from 2008 onward, if you bought the dip in the S&P, you've been rewarded. I mean, it might have been painful when you did it, but you've been very, very well rewarded. And that's all because the overall deflationary trend was in place and interest rates were lower, so stocks were the best alternative. I think as we've turned the corner here on that issue, and you see it other places too, like you've got this potential dock workers strike, and labor all over the world is realizing that their purchasing power just got destroyed by 40%. And guess what? They want to share. They're like, okay, you want to keep the economy running? That's great. You're going to increase our salaries a lot. And, the dock workers want 60 to 70% over 10 years. Well, even if you take that divided evenly and say it's 6% a year, that's a lot more than 3. So we've entered an inflationary world, and in my opinion, and so that's what's going to, ultimately create the problem, because the government has to sell bonds in order to finance these deficits, and they want lower interest rates, and so they will. I think Powell's going to continue to chop rates. I think he's going to take them down 50 at the next meeting and 50 at the meeting after that, because he knows that with the federal debt the way it is, that the $1.2 trillion run rate on the interest cost is just destroying the budget, and they've got to get that down. Now they're going to get it down in the form of doing more short-term bills, because no one wants to buy the long stuff.
While many of us are eager to see these explosive moves for Bitcoin and other hard assets, we need to understand that these processes take time. Even though the signs are there for everyone to see, it will take time for them to fully play out. That's why it's crucial not to be scared by volatility, not to pay attention to the noise, bad news, or manipulated data, and to keep holding quality assets like Bitcoin, gold, or stocks. Be patient as the destruction of the dollar accelerates. Yes, this is happening right now, and it's only a matter of time before the entire system collapses. And when that moment arrives, you'll wish you had spent more time accumulating cheap Bitcoin while you still could. What do you think about all of this, friends? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you found this video helpful or informative in any way, please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. We are Wealth Wizards, and we hope to see you soon in the next video. Take care and have an excellent day. Goodbye.